Hi there, I'm Michael.
Hi, I'm Sonia, and we're from the Urban Homestead Academy, and we're going to take you on a tour of our new homestead so you can see what work we're up to and what food we're setting up to grow. Okay.
Homestead property here is approximately 2.5 acres, which is about 1 hectare. So it's a reasonable plot of land. And we have sort of pretty big plans for it, but we're going to do it in stages. So over the next 6 months, we moved in a few months ago. We've done a little bit of work so far, but over the next 6 months, we're going to really focus on the infrastructure like raised beds, the chicken house, propagation houses, polytunnels and things like that. So we'll take you through a few teaching videos on how to do a lot of this stuff. But this particular section here, this is what we call our summer section. At the moment, it's autumn here in Tasmania, but we're going to be growing in this section here in the next summertime. We're prepping this for our first batch of potatoes, and we want to plant around about 20 varieties of heritage potatoes, obviously so that we can eat, and we can also donate to various charities, but also that we can keep the heritage varieties for future generations. So we're just prepping this soil at the moment, and as you can see, it's a beautiful clay-based loam. But one of the issues we've had over the last 6 months has been extremely dry. So we've had a couple of showers the last few days, so I had the rotary hoe in here. Raised beds down the back are all no dig. What we're doing here, because we're planting potatoes, we really want to be able to put the potatoes in a soft tilth. So we're going to be rotary hoeing this over the next few months, getting the tilth deeper and deeper, and we'll start planting the potatoes probably put the first batch in the end of August. And then we're going to be planting various types of corn, popping corn, milling corn, it's dent corn, and also some sweet corn, not just for making corn flour, but also to feed our chickens. And we'll also be planting pumpkins to run between the rows. So we're just prepping this site now in autumn, and this is going to be mainly used next summer. So from sort of like late August, September onwards. One of the jobs I've done, we've started running out some irrigation pipe, and this particular pipe is 50mm. It's 2 inches in the old imperial measurement. But we've run pretty large scale pipes so we can run the volume up, because what we want to do, we want to irrigate the whole property. So as I said, it's 2.5 acres. So we've probably got about 150 metres down to the bottom and another 100 metres across. So by running this big pipe, we're able to push the volume of water through to various parts of the property. So it's a good idea if you're setting out for the first time to put a larger pipe in rather than a smaller one. That allows you to grow the actual food production side of things. Okay there, so what we want to do on our homestead property, we want to really bring all the pollinators in, like the honeybees and the native insects, the birds in, to really pollinate all our crops, our fruit trees and all our crops that we're saving for seed. So what we're doing with this mulch, this is just radiata pine mulch. It's quite easy to come by here in Tasmania. And we're going to run a perimeter all the way around the perimeter, down the bottom, up the side, and we're going to plant hundreds and hundreds of native plants. And species like grevilleas and banksias, melaleucas, tea trees and things like that, all the native plants that tend to sort of bring in all the pollinators that a homestead property really needs. One of the things we want to do, we've got a flow hive, which is basically a beehive that you just turn the tap on and the honey flows out of it. It's a really wonderful idea. But we need to run that properly. We need a lot of the native trees in here. The previous owner planted a lot of European type trees like deciduous trees and conifers, but the problem with that is they don't bring the pollinators in, so we just want to bring a lot more of the pollinators that will attract the native bees and insects into the property. As you can see, we've bought a lot of bulk supplies in. This here is actually a 12 cubic metre load of chicken manure, old broken down chicken manure, not fresh stuff. And this is what they call a native loam here, and this is so we can actually put our polytunnel full of our crops that we're going to grow for summer. So the idea with this is the polytunnel just goes just in front of the chicken manure. We'll build the polytunnel house, and then we'll cart the the chicken manure down, put that down first, and then loam down second, but we'll show you that as we go. This is our second area of raised beds that we're prepping at the moment, and what we're doing, it's a bit like a layer cake. We're putting the really old chicken manure down first, then we're putting some good sandy loam on top of that, and then we put the beds in later. So this is one we're just working on at the moment, so we'll do another video on that a bit later on when we start to put the sides of the boxing in for you. So this is our first raised bed section that we did. We put this in around about 3 months ago, and we've got the first of our autumn crops in. So we've got a lot of brassicas in here, things like cabbages, cauliflowers, broccoli. We've also got our autumn sowings of carrots and swedes and onions. So this is the first section that we sowed down. So a lot of these crops here, they'll be ready for eating around about sort of the beginning of springtime, and then they'll go through around about to probably the end of October. And then we'll do our spring plantings then. So one of our first jobs we did, which was done about 6 months ago, was putting water storage facility in. So obviously if you're going to grow food, depending on how much food you want to grow, we're going to grow obviously food for eating, but we also want to do seed production, and we may even have a little market garden business as well. We haven't quite decided that yet, but obviously you need water, stored water. So we've actually put 4 of these 25,000 litre tanks in. We actually catch a lot of rainwater off the roof, but this allows us to grow crops, especially handy through summertime. Yeah, so you just need that water storage, just the peace of mind knowing you've got enough water to water your crops. Yeah, so when we bought the property, there was this old shed on the property. It wasn't clad at all, it just had wire sides. So we've decided just to convert this to our chicken house. Chickens love to be warm, they don't like to be exposed to the elements. So by cladding this, it means we don't have to spend a lot of money on rebuilding a whole structure, and we've just got to clad it and the chickens are good to go.
One of the first things we did was go and get our chickens. So this variety is the Australorps, which is a really nice hardy bird. So we started with 7. They've got a lovely big free range pen. They're very, very happy out here, and they're eating a lot of the excess vegetables and fruits at the moment. We'll add to this. Currently they're laying an egg a day, so we're getting 7 eggs a day, 49 eggs a week, so plenty for family and friends, and looking forward to sort of expanding this brood a little bit. But they are very, very happy chickens, very low maintenance.
Yeah, so when we moved onto the property, we were lucky in the sense that we had a lot of fruit trees already here. We've got things like apricots and quinces and hazelnuts, peaches. Got 2 really nice apple trees, a golden delicious and a red delicious. So we're going to integrate these trees that are here in with our overall garden design.
And here's a little snapshot of the herbs that we're growing. So we've only just sort of recently planted these out, but we've kept these pots close to the house, close to the kitchen, because every night when I cook I'm always coming out and having a look at what herbs I can add to the dishes. So let's have a look at these. And herbs are so expensive. I was in a store the other day and they were selling just a very, very small bunch of herbs for $4 to $5 a small bunch. The good thing about growing your own herbs is that they're easy to grow, and you can really go for it when you're cooking meals. You don't have to hold back when you've got a lot of fresh herbs to be able to put in your dishes. And here we've got a few different tomato varieties here that we sort of put out as soon as we moved into the property. Got an abundance of tomatoes, and now we're here getting ready to save seed from them. So that one's tomatoe, that's a sweet bite, cherry tomato, and a couple of other bush varieties there.
Even though it was late in the season, it was actually the beginning of January, we planted these pumpkin bushes. This one's called Queensland Blue. And as you can see, we've already got a pretty nice crop. And considering it wasn't planted to January, normally pumpkins you're planting out in October. so they'll sort of best part of 3 months too late, but we've still got a crop out of it. But we will have garden beds around the property that we will plant in vegetables and things like sweet potatoes.
So that's just a very quick tour of the homestead, just to show you some of the projects that we've got planned. So we're just starting, quite a bit of work to go, but we'll certainly get there, and we'll keep uploading videos so that you can see how we're progressing as well.
Thank you for joining us, and feel free to follow us around on our garden expedition, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye for now.